Blessed love, my family. Tell me, are you satisfied with the level of African history, heritage, and culture provided to our children in this system that we live in? I didn't think so. Well, we here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge has the solution for this dilemma. We offer a 10-month international certified homeschool program that offers African heritage and history, as well as the intriguing science called astronomy. Our classes are sent out daily in the form of to-the-point and exciting videos prepared for the young ones in mind. You, the parent, will be astonished at the knowledge they retain, and both yourself and your young ones will feel great pride when receiving the well-deserved certificate. But hold on, there is more. This 10-month program usually goes for $50 a month or $300 for the full course. But for a limited time until the 27th day of September, which is Maskal, we will be offering the homeschool courses for only, listen to this, $30 per month, or, hear this my family, $200 for the full course. This is an investment that will definitely benefit yourself and your young ones. To sign up today, just email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Now that is priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Priest Isaac Institute@gmail.com. Blessed love. And blessed love, we definitely do give thanks for the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Oh yes, welcome my family into the Tiger's Nest. As always, the Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. Great joy and happiness as we go into another realms. And what we're going to be doing this evening there, my family, of course, as I said, you are here with us to keep a joy and take this to another level. We will be talking about, as you already see, a very important subject. We'll be talking about the ancestor himself, Nelson Mandela, and the perception that maybe we would have got of him and exactly where he would have really stood. But anyway, and this is really from a personal perspective, from a personal perspective. So in a few moments, we're going to get into that. In fact, we're going to get into that right now. I'm just inviting you to definitely tune into the international flavor, the universal spice. By now, you should know what's going on. It is Radio and International. Of course, you get there by going straight to our website, which is priestisaacinstitute.com. priestisaacinstitute.com. And of course, you get all the information, the knowledge you need, even as it relates to our international homeschool classes. We just gave you a little rundown or run up on exactly what is going on. In fact, that's just 5 days away. What's 5 days away, brother? I mean, the 27th of September, Maskal or Maskal, however you pronounce it, is 5 days away. And that is going to be the ceiling point for our special that we have been doing as it relates to the international homeschool classes. Of course, you know, your brother is going to encourage you for the love of the young ones. I'm telling you to, you know, take on the opportunity, at least give us a contact. Email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, and interact with us, and we will give you more vibration. We'll give you more understanding even before you make a decision, and you will see exactly what it is we have to offer. Okay, the level I want to take this on, my family, as it relates to Brother Nelson Mandela. Now, Brother Nelson Mandela is like one of the most outstanding heroes that we have in this time. When it comes to the heroes for Black people in the contemporary world. In other words, you know, this may sound harsh to some, but the heroes that are given to us, Brother Nelson Mandela ranks amongst the tops. Even Barack Obama is given to us. Brother Martin Luther King. There's certain people, and some of them are heroes in their own rights, you know, but they have been given to us and propped up to a degree wherein now we accept that as so-called gospel. Let me just give you a perfect example before we go too far. In the Haitian Revolution, in Haiti, you know, there's a, before I came into a certain level of knowledge, all I knew about was Toussaint Louverture. We learned about Toussaint Louverture in school. So if they're teaching you about somebody in school, you got to revisit this again. Now, it's not as if there was something wrong with Toussaint Louverture at all. In fact, you may, those who may be, you know, super revolutionary may critique him. For example, you know, when the revolution was on, he actually went back and assisted his former slave masters to make a clean escape. It's in the history books, it's just reality. So those who may be the flame throwers do not like that sort of vibration. And then now in the world of comparison, you know, even before Toussaint, you may get the impression as if he started. This was going on before him. He was drawn into this. You have to remember Macandal and Dottie Bookman, and even the sisters and Defale, and these different ones that went to the alligator pond and the alligator swamp and had the voodoo ceremony. Why did they go in an alligator swamp? Because they know the Babylon ain't gonna follow them in no alligator swamp. And they got the revolutionary vibration and the revolutionary spirits and the ancestors and Ogun and all of them came in ready to battle against the wicked. And it went on, and Toussaint Louverture eventually became a part of it. And then when he, you know, after his demise, you have generals like Dessalines who stood up, even Christophe to some degree, of them terrible levels too. And when you balance them all, and we're not on the levels of comparing our heroes with the other heroes, like how the world makes you compare and compare and compare. But when we balance it properly, you know, and when you understand and understood the work of, again, a Macandal, you know, who, if I'm not mistaken, he was the herbalist that would have poisoned the people. You know what I mean? Thousands of people he poisoned. And the Dirty Bookman and all of these ones, when you balance them well, Toussaint Louverture wouldn't really rank as high as some of them, just to show you the stats. But for some reason or the other, the world decides that, hey, we're going to make him the star of the show. I mean, the same thing could be said with no disrespect to Brother Martin Luther King Jr. and many other people, you know. Bob Marley and the Wailers. Man, we can go on and on with this thing. But Martin Luther King now, his situation is interesting, you know, because when you look into that, he himself clearly showed you that he considered that he was integrating his people into a burning house. These were some of his last words. In fact, his last speech, which we obviously we drop from time to time on the shock of the hour, when he clearly showing you that, hey, listen, man, this is when he's saying he's been to the mountaintop and he would love to live a long life, but that don't matter anymore. And then he's telling you to go and to boycott or boycott, don't buy from, boycott Wonder Bread and Coca-Cola. Imagine you telling people don't go buy Coca-Cola. That was like the worst thing he could have said. You understand? Going against the Vietnam War, you know, the Martin Luther King of the dream days, he seemed to have been transforming somewhat. I mean, he was 30 plus. You know, people mature. People have different ways of thinking. You know, so I mean, he seemed to be getting like the mentality of the revolutionary. We got to do something about him, and something was done about him. But yet still, the aspect of him that they would like to keep alive, because you don't hear about the other aspect of him. No, you don't hear a thing about the other part of him. You got to go and look for that for yourself. But the other aspect of him that was coming out, Harry Belafonte was the one that said Martin Luther King was definitely changing. He was definitely putting away the non-violent way of thinking. I think Harry Belafonte is still alive. You understand? So just meditate, but yet still, they portray to you the Gandhi man, the Gandhi type of Martin Luther King Jr., non-violence and you know, cover your head and take the blows and all of them kind of madness there. Yeah, man. So, and that is what's portrayed. That is what you keep in your heart. This is psychology, family. Family, this is psychology. From the days of your black and white television and your transistor radio, this is some serious psychology. That's your real school, you know, your TV and your radio. That's your school. That's bigger school than them schools. Them schools is for paper and degree, and you can say, oh, I went here. That's not, education is your mind. So the news and all of these things condition your mind. Your so-called history months and so condition your mind. So who's your hero? Oh, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. So then you have to learn what it is about these people. And you'll find out, again, the hardcore will always have a problem with them people that you pick. Because they always seem to have shared too much of the pie. Let's put it that way. With those who shouldn't get none of the pie at all. Now, and again, this isn't religion. Anybody that know the history, understand the history of the whalers. So don't get in their feelings now. Now, anyway, the thing with Brother Nelson Mandela, and there's something important I want to present to you, you know, and why I titled it in such a way as to ask, you know, was I wrong about him? And let me show you this too, because this can get a bit touchy here. And we don't want to play around with this at all because it's not a joke. Now, in I'm calling dates and time now. There was when Nelson Mandela went to the United States after coming out of prison, he did a specific, well, he did many programs, many interviews, and he was on the Ted Koppler program. And I'm going to give you a bit of that now in a few moments. But one of the things about Brother Nelson Mandela that I think everyone would agree with is that in the President Nelson Mandela, specifically President Nelson Mandela, not just Nelson Mandela after prison, but President Nelson Mandela would have acted or maybe not have acted in ways that some of us would have believed he should have acted. Meaning that we're speaking of a situation where we know the history, where the Europeans came in and just basically displaced us and, you know, took ownership of the land. That's in a nutshell the history, there. And then now we appear to get some level of power and we're saying, okay, tell you what, let's share it. In fact, not let's just share it, but things almost basically remain the same. Now, in the case of South Africa, not because I do not live there, I think I have enough communication with South Africans. And even if I didn't, man, this is the international world. Knowledge is there to be found. Just do your research. It is not that drastically different in South Africa than it was under the apartheid age. I mean, as far as, you know, opportunity then for the indigenous people of the land. Now, one may say, well, listen, man, you can't keep blaming this people and blame. This is not a blame thing, you know. This is not no blame thing. We're trying to show you clearly that history shows that the individuals, again, that we have been given to admire. For example, Idi Amin Dada. Now, of course, some of you will jump right away. Why? You can't even explain it, but you have been brain scrubbed to think like that, because he's a person that wouldn't do that. In fact, what he did, he kicked out the enemy. He said, no, you got to leave. He gave them 3 months to go and got his economy back in order. And even when he have his economy in order, you still come and lie and say, oh, the people them starving. You understand? That is how it goes. That's just the reality of it. So I'm saying no. And that's just how it is with Brother Nelson Mandela. But what I'm saying here is that there's another level to this that is deeper than that. There's this theory that this individual that we know as Nelson Mandela is not the individual that went into the prison. I don't mean the mindset, I just mean the person. Now, I've done a few programs speaking about this. And when I say if I was wrong, let me be clear. I never, if you want to say, definitively said to anyone that I am positive that Mr. Mandela that went into the prison is not the Mr. Mandela that came out. No, so no, that's not it. What I could say is that I do not find it impossible for sure. Oh yeah, come on, man. No, listen, any sensible person, listen to what the theory is. The theory is Nelson Mandela went into prison in the 60s, came out in the 90s. No one saw him for 20 plus years, almost 30 years. Ones were not even sure how he would look when he come out. And then he comes out. And to those who are hardline and hardcore, he appears, not in appearance really, but his actions and behavior appears somewhat different to the Nelson Mandela, the flamethrower Mandela, you know, the revolutionary pick up arms Mandela that went into prison. Yeah, he is different. I mean, that's no disrespect to him, eh? That's just what it is. Maybe he had a change of thought and we all mature. However you want to put it, the fact is he was very different, especially as president. Now, I would say again, that science of taking someone out and replacing them, especially on a chessboard like this, because this is diplomacy and geopolitics, world domination vibes. And remember, this is a whole puppeteer game going on in the world. Enough people you see boxing is puppets and pawns and knights and bishops. They've been moved, even if them is the kings and queens, somebody picking them up and putting them there. That's just the reality of it. I don't see nothing wrong with what I'm saying. It's just the truth. So as conscious people, we are not dissing our ancestor, the great Nelson Mandela, for sure. But that doesn't take away from reality. So for you to consider if they really did our brethren wrong in prison and fix it up and bring out someone else, I don't see that, nothing wrong with at least looking into it. Some of you so off, you, oh, come on, that's just mad, that's crazy, just crazy. Because you're not conscious enough. I mean, so you don't think they've done it already? You don't think they've done it already? I mean, you don't watch enough movies, yo. Yeah. Don't you know the reality of some of these movies? But anyway, before we go there, this is one of the comments that stand out, that makes many ones even consider. For me personally, when I heard this, I had to say to myself, nah, man, Because maybe I myself would have put the theory aside. Keeping in mind, switching someone over 30 years and bringing out somebody new just to play your part. Number one, listen to me good, it's not impossible. I will repeat, I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm telling you it is not impossible. That's easy. That's easier than face off. They can do face off too, much less to do that. That's easy, family. Come on, man. So you giving the enemy too much slack here. You think everybody too nice. It's South Africa apartheid we're talking about. Remember, as somebody was saying, mental slavery continues. Mental slavery bigger than physical slavery. Mental slavery is bigger than religious slavery and economical slavery, because once you get the mental, all these other things can just fall into place. So the enemy understand that. I mean, if I understand that, you think they understand that. Willie Lynch clearly tell you that, hey, listen, don't kill them. I have a better plan. And we just fall asleep. Hear what this man here said. This, yeah.
Brutal rule. I thought an interesting comment was made when somebody said to me, I heard somebody say, where's Mandela? Well, Mandela's dead because Saddam Hussein killed all the Mandelas. He was a brutal tyrant that divided people up and split families, and people are recovering from this. So there's a psychological recovery that is taking.
I wouldn't even go into all what he's saying there. Now, hear this. No. At this time, Nelson Mandela was still alive. At least the person we perceive to be Brother Nelson Mandela. And I think he was already the president, and now, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he was definitely out of prison. He done become president, and he all right. Okay. Now, so this President of the United States, if you don't know, this is George W.H. Bush. And he's giving his press briefing. And he's saying in his press briefing that Mandela is dead. Oh, he didn't say Nelson Mandela. He didn't. So who he talking about? Winnie Mandela? Come on, just cool out, man. Come on. It's taken out of context. Which context you could take this out? And then some people go as far as to say, man, George Bush is a clown, man. Hey, I saw a picture once with George, this same man here, fella here, with one a telephone, real telephone with the wire connected to it. And he had the telephone upside down in the Oval Office, like he's seriously talking to somebody. And I said, but wait. So what? He posed for that picture, he playing around, And I can tell you that if you were to ask me who's my favorite US president, I would call him. Obviously, I can't have no favorite US president in the sense like, yes, this is who but this fella here, yeah, man, he is my favorite. I think the best US president is Ronald Reagan. That's what, yeah, man, yeah, Ronald Reagan, Trump too. That's what a real US president is. But this fella here now, you can say what you want. I'm not in politics with you. I'm just telling you my outlook. This fella here now, he quite amusing. But you can't take them things for joke. Amusing and joke is two different things. The man say Mandela there. This is the boss of the police state of the world. The police of the world, they call it. The man say, Mandela dead. Where's Mandela? Somebody asked him, where's Mandela?
I thought an interesting comment was made when somebody said to me, I heard somebody say, where's Mandela? Well, Mandela's dead because Saddam Hussein killed all the Mandelas.
Right. And he's speaking esoterically, I'm sure. No, so all I'm saying here is this. This is all I'm saying, family. Is that even his statement would have added some level of fuel to the conspiracy theory that already existed about would the real Nelson Mandela stand up. Now, listen again, this is sensitive. This is not as if I just playing around with nobody's vibes. As I just said, Brother Nelson Mandela is our hero. You understand? This is not a joke for me. I'm not here. This is not even entertainment. I find it's a serious subject, and I'm putting it out as humble as I can with as much love that we can give it. We're not here playing with it, family. Trust me. You understand? Because you can't be disrespecting our ancestors too. You have to have a clarity of what's going on. That's how I look at it. And it's something to look into. So this is why I'm taking the time to go through it. And there's something else I want to show to you. So at the end of this conversation, we should all be able to leave it and say, wow, okay, this is interesting stuff. So I'm sure you could see how I'm building up to this. As I said, the whole circumstances is not in the whole circumstance, pardon me, around it. It's not impossible to believe that something like that can happen. Straight up. Again, even if it did or didn't, it can happen. You're going to tell me the technology don't exist. You don't even need technology. All you need to do is take out one man and get a look-alike. With the technology there. You know how much people look like Saddam Hussein? He just mentioned Saddam. You know how many people look like Saddam Hussein that I myself see with my eyes? I'm telling you. But you see, you know, real leaders have doubles, and so you, yeah, man, come on, where are you? Real leaders have doubles. Yeah, real thing. Well-paid doubles too. Just for a moment, maybe they don't go and give a speech, but oh, hey, there he is. Yeah, nothing wrong, it's just vibes. It's just vibes. So it's not impossible. And I'm taking my time, especially maybe for the younger minds. People never even hear all of this. I know some of you have graduated already, but you have to take time with the younger students. It's not everybody know everything you know. Sometimes you'll be surprised how much you have to slow down what you say for people to comprehend really. Sometimes I'll be talking and people say, one question, sir, yes. What is the Ark of the Covenant you're talking about? Oh, wow. So you got to go back there. And that was just said in a passing statement, you know. So you could, and so it's real. Sometimes you're talking to professors, and sometimes you're talking to people that are just learning to talk. Okay, let me get his face over here. Sure. Now, so this is the program that I was speaking about. Now, this is it, my brothers and sisters. Before he took the presidency, now, this is Brother Nelson Mandela, and he visited the United States. At this time, he was still with Sister Winnie Mandela, because you have to keep in mind, all of this had to be done. He had to release his wife to become president. He had to release his wife to become president. Now, maybe you may say, boy, that was a hard decision. Yeah. I mean, wow, you know how well, if you are, how should I put it, a fan there, you know how we feel about Sister Winnie Mandela. You understand? Wow. Yeah, he was in jail for 27 years. You know what Sister Winnie said? She cannot remember how many times she has been to prison. Eh? She cannot remember how many times she has been to prison. She got so paranoid in prison that she had to make friends with spiders and ants. I promised myself I wasn't going to get too excited there, actually. Yeah, man, but I mean, you know how it is. And let me tell you how wicked we are. We are the wicked ones. We look at Sister Madikizela as some sort of fallen hero because of an incident. Now, again, this is very, because I know some of you in South Africa listening, and this is why I didn't want to get too emotional here. But this is reality. The whole necklacing situation and the death of Stumpy, and those of you who have taken the time to study the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And we know that Sister Winnie also apologized for the situation. But I mean, it's deeper than that, these little things and trinkets that we get on the television and on the radio and these little things. Brother, Sister Winnie Madikizela, stand up for I and I. So much, unlike almost anybody else you can think of. Unlike, man, tell you. Man, I don't want to be comparing her even to her husband, man. But all these other peoples that we hail up to, man. All the Martin Luther Kings and all the Black Panthers. The mother, not just the mother of South Africa, our mother, Winnie Mandela, Madikizela, bear the pain for us when they come and rag her out of her house and just leave the two little girls there. They don't even business about that. And then lock her away for how long? 6 months? And then they decide that, hey, we can't break her, let her go. Then they come back for her and carry her somewhere else to live some far away, nobody, no man's land. Pressure her, persecute her, come and lock her up again, arrest her. And she was abused too, seriously abused. The movie can't show you all of that. She was seriously abused. Listen to her words. Listen to her words, 27 years. Then there's some little scandal of her having an affair with somebody. I don't want to go that far. But I think we all know that if the brother would have kept her as his wife, that would have stained his presidency if he would have ever gotten it. Because I know we talk about one vote, one people and all of that. But you know, even in America, is the Supreme Court or whoever decide who they want to be president. This is a serious thing. The sister stand up strong with the king, man, as a young woman to an elder woman. And he come out in the 90s, and in a few years, the man leave her to go marry somebody else. What did she do that was so wrong? Not telling me the necklacing situation. Come on, man. Come on, man. So we're gonna scar our mother for that? We're some sick people. Not him. We all of us divorce her. I ain't talking about Nelson Mandela. All of us, you divorce her. All of us divorce her. We divorce her already. We're some wicked people. I'm telling you, better wake up. But anyway, let's get back to Brother Nelson Mandela. So this interview now, it took me a while to get here. I didn't expect to take so long to get here. But anyway, that's how it is. You're in the tiger's nest. After reviewing this, I was quite taken in with some of the comments the brother made. And I had to revisit, at least within my mind, the whole concept of if this is him that went into the prison. As I said, it's not a subject of mockery. And I think the reality I've put to the table thus far would at least, tolerate the conversation. I mean, your president said so. So, wow, I mean, at least let's look into what he's saying, what may have slipped out of his mouth. Yeah. There are many aspects of this interview here, or town hall meeting, that I was quite impressed with. And again, it made me consider, I'll put it this way, if I was wrong about Brother Nelson Mandela as far as who went into prison and who came out of prison. Now, I've never had a definitive stance on it, because as I always say, there's nothing wrong with belief. You ain't got to know everything. Some things you got to say, well, I believe, but just it's not something you put your head on the block for, but you're not too sure. But I always would have leaned strongly, I'm telling you the truth, to that level of thinking that, hey, this don't seem like the man that went into the prison at all, for real. But if I was wrong, even if it wasn't a definitive stance, if I was wrong, I mean, we are humble enough to say, no, man, well, we made a mistake there. Because as I said, after listening to this, at least again, I should say, after a long, long time, a few things that were said quite impressed us. And I'm just going to visit it now. And, you could also comment on what you think here. So again, this is Nelson Mandela with Ted Koppler. I think it's Ted Koppler.
Our next questioner at the microphone over there, Mr. Edelman.
Welcome to America, Mr. Mandela. I'm Ken Edelman. Those of us who share your struggle for human rights and against apartheid have been somewhat disappointed by the models of human rights that you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat, who you have praised. You have told Gaddafi that you share the view on, and applaud him on his record of human rights and his drive for freedom and peace around the world. And you have praised Fidel Castro as a leader of human rights and said that Cuba was one of the countries that's head and shoulders above all other countries in human rights, despite the fact that documents at the United Nations and elsewhere show that Cuba is one of the worst. I was just wondering, are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a
that we can and we will never do. We have our own struggle, which we are conducting. We are grateful to the world for supporting our struggle. But nevertheless, we are an independent organization with its own policy. And the attitude of every country towards, our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle.
As a great mother there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mother. And that's Harry Belafonte, actually, to her left. So as you could see, at this time when he talking so, he was still with her. She has reason to applaud. I don't think she would have applauded a lot of things that were said after the divorce.
Yasser Arafat, Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt.
If you notice somebody in the audience say, woof, you have to understand, some of you may not know. You see them 3 names they call you. You can't be friend with them people there. Much less all 3 of them. That's how they kill people. That's how they take you out. To be related to Gaddafi, Islamic extremists and Arafat. and who the other fellow there? And Fidel Castro, communists. Because it was communist. You see that communist thing? It's a trick. This is another thing. This is another thing. This Cold War vibration in Russia and America. Russia and America are brothers. And somehow they have a pact where they take out black people by pulling one on one side. So Patrice Lumumba came to America, the jungle premier. Nobody wanted to meet with him. Why? Because he's a communist. Patrice Lumumba said, yo, we ain't no communists. We just doing what we're doing. Yes, the Russians befriended us, because that's what the Russians do. They befriend people. They befriended Maurice Bishop down in Grenada and say, yeah, we're going to build you an airport. Don't worry, if America won't help you, we'll help you. And then when America see Russia befriending you, you obviously become a communist. Man, study geopolitics, history properly, family. Patrice Lumumba, say Maurice Bishop, these are people that they kill, Again, for the students who are not really up there yet, depending on what stage you are. These are leaders. Maurice Bishop is in Grenada. These are leaders that took their country and said that they were holding the resources for their people, and decided that our former slave masters cannot be taking away our resources, or else we will stay poor forever. The Congo, even the Spice Island, Grenada, and other places. But the point I'm making is that when the capitalists pull back from you, and you have to find other means and ways of trade and all of that, the communists come in, hey, we'll help you, especially in that time. We'll help you. And then when the same Americans see the communists helping you, it's as if you're working with the terrorists. That's what it is. That's the same thing they will tell you today. And we just go for all of that stuff, we just gotta fall in line. So to me now, understanding history, at this time, how I hear the brother speaking here and making well, listen, these three countries are backing me to the T.
Of that country to our struggle. Yasser Arafat, Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt. There is no reason whatsoever why we should have any hesitation about hailing their commitment to human rights as they are being demanded in South Africa. Our attitude is based solely on the fact that they fully support the anti-apartheid struggle. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal for us to win the struggle.
You hear the kind of statement there. He said that Arafat, and you know what kind of people them people be. You know the type of individuals Yasser Arafat and Gaddafi and Fidel Castro are. Good. So he's saying that they're not just talking, they're not just supporting in rhetoric, but they are literally, let me hear the exact words that he said.
Demanded in South Africa. Our attitude is based solely on the fact that they fully support the anti-apartheid struggle. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal for us to win the struggle. That is the position.
Why are you so insistent upon maintaining sanctions at a time when it can be argued that the South African government has made more concessions, your release being only one of them, than it has ever made in the past 40 years?
I should know better about this matter, Mr. Coppell, than you.
No doubt.
Of course, definitely, I mean, this is a lengthy interview. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to go through a few things. And this is a comment here. Just, again, this is a part of the teaching, just to give you an idea of the, you know, the corrosive, not corrosive, this is worse than corrosion. The disgusting, mucky, gutter mind frame of people who were oppressing the Black people in South Africa at the time. I want you to listen to this fellow here.
Wanted to make to you. One of those from whom we are about to hear now, and I'd like you to address your attention over to that monitor, is a man by the name of Koos van der Merwe, who's one of the leaders of the Conservative Party.
Hear this.
Have a listen to what he has to say.
Hello, Nelson. I'm a South African. I'm an Afrikaner. I want self-determination for my people in a part of South Africa. You can't have the whole South Africa for yourself. A part of it belongs to my people. Nelson, you're not going to nationalize the assets of the white people. I have worked for my banks, my mines, my businesses, and my farms. You are not going to take it. Stop your violence. Stop your sanction campaign. Stop your nonsense. Leave the violent campaign alone and come and sit down, become a normal person and talk, and maybe that way we can find solutions. And lastly, forget communism, Nelson. It's gone. And I hope you will be well. I believe you were ill. I hope you will recover and have a good journey.
No, I wouldn't even go into reply. He didn't really reply to it as such. He just showed that he was somewhat bilingual and said he looked forward to sit down with that fella there. But the point I'm making with that, you hear that mentality there. Stop your nonsense. You can't have all of South Africa. Imagine you can, how on earth after what, 1, 2 generations, 2.5 generations, 3 the most, how you could just come and chat. Wow, we are some real, I don't know if it's passive or loving people, boy. Love is not foolishness. And you see, the more time moves on, a lot of the claims we have, we can't say nothing. You don't see how, listen, I always say this, look at this scenario here, or hypothetical situation. If 10 American Indians, 10 of them, and these are the people that history say own the land, right? If 10 of them decided to rise up and take back at least a territory that can be proven by not just history, but by records. Because the US have the records, Canada have the records, especially a lot of these places where they preserve their records. And they know, hey, the Cherokee used to own Nebraska and whatever, I just making that out of my head, But they know that the Seminoles used to own this territory here and whatever. And say you have, you know, a Messiah-like figure that rose up and get 10 brothers with him and their wives, and they form a pact, and even if it takes them 20 years to grow, and then they take back their states to the point where they're so precise that they take back the borders that the records say originally was theirs before Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier, came and ran them out. What are we going to say now? Oh no, this is terrorism. You shouldn't do that. We've gone past that already. No, but we're coming back for our ancestral land. Well, no, that is not right. We've been here for almost 200 years now. And, you know, I know you've been here for thousands of years prior to that, but this is a new age. We have the internet now, folks. You can't do this. Let's work it out. You can't do this. My son was born right here. So we get pathetic now. You see, we have been given pathetic soup for years. You see, like how they advertise alphabet soup, we eat pathetic soup. So we have this pathetic mentality. So that's why that man, they could talk what he talk, talking about you can't get back South Africa. I've built my banks, I've built my mines, and he can just say that. And if you tell him what madness you talking about, you are seen as some demon. No, let's all get along. His children was born here. Who make up them rules there? Family, hear this one now. We almost done.
Seemed at different times to give to the PLO.
We're almost done. This is the
I would
last
like to ask Mr. Sigmund to stand now for a moment.
Hear
and
this one.
Pose
Here.
whatever question he would like directly to you. Mr. Sigmund?
Jewish.
Before I pose my question, permit me to say first that when I had the pleasure and honor of meeting with Mr. Mandela in Geneva, we said to him, and I would like to repeat this now, in order to put my question in context, that the commitment of the Jewish organizations that met with him to the struggle against apartheid, against racism, against injustice in South Africa is absolutely unconditional. It is not dependent on whether we are happy or unhappy with responses that Mr. Mandela gives to some questions. Having said that, I think I would be dishonest if I did not express profound disappointment with the answer that Mr. Mandela gave to the previous question, because it suggests a certain degree of amorality. It suggests that what these people do in their own countries, what a Gaddafi does in Libya, what a Castro does in Cuba, is totally irrelevant, even in terms of the issue of human rights, as long as they support the cause of the ANC. I hope that is not what Mr. Mandela meant, and I would hope that he would clarify that issue further.
Mr. Mandela.
Firstly, we are a liberation movement which is fully involved in a struggle to emancipate our people from one of the worst racial tyrannies the world has seen. We have no time to be looking into the internal affairs of other countries. It is unreasonable for anybody to think that this is our role. I have been asked by somebody who wants me to express an opinion on the differences that are taking place within the USA, and he has made his position quite clearly that there is racialism in this country. I have refused to be drawn into that. Why should Mr. Sigmund accept my refusal to be withdrawn into the internal affairs of the United States? And at the same time, want me to be involved in the internal affairs of Libya and Cuba? I refuse to do that. As far as Yasser Arafat is concerned, I explained to Mr. Sigmund that we identify with the PLO, because just like ourselves, they are fighting for the right of self-determination. I went further, however, to say that the support for Yasser Arafat in his struggle does not mean that the ANC has ever doubted the right of Israel to exist as a state legally. We have stood quite openly and firmly for the right of that state to exist within secured borders. But, of course, as I said to Mr. Sigmund in Geneva and others, that we carefully define what we mean by secure borders. We do not mean that Israel has the right to retain the territories they conquered from the Arab world, like the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, and the West Bank. We don't agree with that. Those territories should be returned to the Arab people.
Oh, see these little Jewish boys here? They didn't like that, and they're going to see them shaking their heads.
Mr. Mandela.
I also explained to Mr. Sigmund and company that in our organization, we have Jews. In fact, Mr. Gaddafi did not allow us to open our offices in Libya precisely because we had the courage to say to him, we work with the Jews in our organization. And he didn't allow us to open an office until February this year, when he had to accept us as we are. We are not prepared to be swayed by anybody. We have an independent policy which we accept no matter with whom we discuss.
A number of the things that you said in our hour between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock this evening, some controversial things, not the kinds of things necessarily that a very political man says. If you were...
Okay, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah, but very interesting point to leave it on. Not the kind of things a political man would say, and that's the truth. And that is the truth. And I will repeat here, although this is post-prison Mandela, this is still pre-president Mandela. That's a very important point. That's a little gap that we need to examine properly, because sometimes when we speak about the Nelson Mandela coming out of prison, that the hardcore is not too aligned with, is not really the one coming out of prison. It seems to be the one that was in the presidency, because the one coming out of prison, at least the little that we're gathering here, still had a revolutionary mind to some degree. When you're telling me that the three of the main revolutionary people on the planet is not just talking to you, but lending you and giving you resources. They're putting their resources at your disposal. That statement alone is something that the, let's just say, the secret investigators would have risen their antennas. Sure, not that they don't know that already, but just to show how that clarity. And as Ted was just saying there, you're not being as diplomatic as you could be. What's going on? Why are you so rough around the edges, really? But anyway, I'll go on forever and ever into this, and we got to see it. But listen, family, you know, I think that sometimes we have to approach things from, you know, the space, the heart space, you know. A lot of us, we talk about God is love, and even Rastafari is love. And love is such a strong energy. We got to show more love even to one another too, in general, you know, if we really know what it means. And we have to have love and respect for elders and our ancestors too. And whatever the case is, this is why knowledge is important. Knowledge is key. I haven't brought, let's say, an end to this conversation here, because I know ones will comment, and I'm sure many are going to say, hey, that's not the Mandela that went into prison. And the conversation will still go on and on and on. But you got to do your diligent search and your diligent research too. I'm going to tell you why. Because you may be, for example, Nelson Mandela was just speaking about earlier in this interview, we didn't show that part. Reverend Calvin Butts asked him a question about the situation in the US and the racism and all of that. And he said, well, he's not really getting into the internal aspect of it. Now we get a lot of fire for that. Man, you would hear even our brother Khalid Muhammad would tear up Nelson Mandela for them kind of things. Okay. Now, what I'm saying, let's just assume the theory was true, that this is not the man that went into the prison, but yet still, we're still singing his judgment because he did things against, you know, let's say against our Constitution. But then it wasn't really him. Let me show you again. Do you know Bobby Hemmett? Anyone in the audience know Bobby Hemmett? Okay. Bobby Hemmett is a lecturer that deals with metaphysics and all of that stuff. He has passed on about 4 or 5 years ago. Bobby Hemmett, I hear this. Nobody tell me I hear this with my ears. Bobby Hemmett say. When I say I hear it, not he wasn't in my person on a video. Bobby Hemmett say that Louis Farrakhan that you know today is not the Louis Farrakhan of the 90s. Bobby Hemmett say, I know I'm line on him, and I know some of you can attest to what I say, that somewhere before the Million Man March, the man take out Farrakhan and replace him with the person you see today. Now, again, I surely ain't gonna tell you that that's definitively so. In fact, with all due respect to Bobby Hemmett, I don't lean to that theory that much at all. Now, it is interesting because obviously many people accuse Minister Farrakhan for a change of thoughts and change of ideas and all of that. But that's just, I guess that's natural or unnatural, however, but people change their ideas, people change their thoughts. But he's telling me, or he's telling us, it's not no change of idea. They have totally changed the person. You know? So I'm just showing you, I know that may have hit some of you like, wow, I never even heard that. That's not my philosophy. I definitely didn't make that up. Minister Farrakhan came right here to Antigua already, as about 6 or so years ago. And he was presented with 2 books at the time, which was the True Biblical Land of Israel and the book on Ancient and Modern as well, and via the hand of Khalid Shabazz. So we give thanks that he came through and touched the land. I know, you know, but for sure, one would look at him and say that he's not the Farrakhan from the days, not his skills and maybe his influence, but maybe the ideas. For example, you see him in a lot more churches. He would embrace Caucasians more than even before. He would have his reasons for that. So many ones would be quick to say, well, maybe Bobby Hemmett was correct. And that's not really him. But my point is, we have some great warriors. Say Martin Luther King too. We have people that have really stood up for us. Nelson Mandela, Farrakhan too. We have people that put their life on the line for us already. Even if it's in their younger days. Listen to me, family. Even if it is in their younger days, because Von Benjamin has a thing, what he says, let me see if I can get the words itself, you know, but he was saying something about the elders, at least respect them for how far they have gone. You know, because, you know, man may say, boy, that man drop out. You know, elders like that. Say, boy, that man drop out, not drop out dead, you know, they're still there. but they're not the firebrand they were when they were 30 years old and when they were 40 years old. Now that they're 70, for some reason, they give up, you know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they even have a white woman there. Let's put it that way, just to be clear. Yeah, but still, the great works that they have done, because we have heroes that we admire, you know, that only live to be 30 and only live to be 20. Look at Fred Hampton, only lived to be what, 19 or 20 something, you know? So who was to say if Fred Hampton didn't live to be 50 something, he would have sell out? How you know? No disrespect to the ancestor, because I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just trying to show us we have to understand from the heart space how to love and show appreciation for the good that has been done. You know what I mean? When it comes to the point when a leader sell out his people, like not because he changed his thought. People have different ideas. I can't be vexed with a man because he have a slightly different idea. But when he sit down at a table with somebody and the somebody say, hey, this is what I want you to do to lead these people astray, whether I pay you or pay you not, well, them people there supposed to get firing squad. There's a difference. You have to know how to balance it and how to think of it properly. But anyway, I think I've taken enough of your time. I wouldn't even spend no other time saying anything else except join us on radio, Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. I'm sure you know how to get there. Priest Isaac's Institute, talking about the website. And of course, all the links are below in the description. And of course, don't forget, you only have 5 more days. Maybe it's 4 more days or 3 more days. Maybe it's today to make sure you get that special for your young ones. You should take it, man. Trust me. Those of you who have already, you know, partaken of the homeschool program, I know you have definitely appreciated what you have received. And those of you who are still considering, just email us, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. We'll give you more information. We'll lead you to the Facebook page. We'll show you some of the activities so you can make a proper decision, you know, and a well-advised decision. Love you, family, really. Guidance and protection. Holy Manuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed love, my family. Tell me, are you satisfied with the level of African history, heritage, and culture provided to our children in this system that we live in? I didn't think so. Well, we here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge has the solution for this dilemma. We offer a 10-month international certified homeschool program that offers African heritage and history, as well as the intriguing science called astronomy. Our classes are sent out daily in the form of to-the-point and exciting videos prepared for the young ones in mind. You, the parent, will be astonished at the knowledge they retain, and both yourself and your young ones will feel great pride when receiving the well-deserved certificate. But hold on, there is more. This 10-month program usually goes for $50 a month or $300 for the full course. But for a limited time, until the 27th day of September, which is Maskal, we will be offering the homeschool courses for only, listen to this, $30 per month. Or, hear this, my family, $200 for the full course. This is an investment that will definitely benefit yourself and your young ones. To sign up today, just email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Now that is priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Priest Isaac Institute@gmail.com. Blessed love.